Hey, good morning, and welcome back to Dynamic Alignment Bodywork. I'm Liam, and today let's take a few minutes in this video to explore the interoceptive and proprioceptive capabilities of the body. We'll use the hand as an example, but I think it's really useful to have felt sense understanding of what it means to more fully inhabit a space of your body and how that affects something like your flexibility, your strength, pain levels in an area. You can probably kind of get a taste, and that'll just take a couple minutes to do. If you don't already have a really good sense of that already, it could be a pretty big eye-opener. I just am back from a class, or back in work. I took a class this weekend that was all about that, and it was really incredible. Really opened up my eyes even further to sort of that, our inner workings and what that means for, in a very practical sense, how that can help in a very practical sense, things like pain levels and range of motion, but starting from a pretty subtle place. So for that example, we'll use the hand. So let's do a couple pre-tests. One is take a moment to close your eyes and just feel and sort of see in your mind's eye each hand. You're actually accessing the part of your brain that sort of maps the body. And that part of our brain, like all of the brain, is very plastic and very able to adapt to sensory input. And that's actually exactly what we're going to be playing with. Not just the brain, but that's sort of the big player we can think of it as. And then two is choose one of the wrists that you're going to work with and just do a little range of motion. Kind of get a feel. We're not getting out something that measures angles, but just sort of getting a sense of how it moves. Now let's take 2 minutes. I'm going to actually set a timer. And when I start, we're going to be doing, with the hand you chose, really soft movement. You're pouring all of your attention into your hand, like if you can imagine yourself being your hand instead of being something that's like directing it. So getting inside as best you can and doing movements that feel like you're waking up your hand from the inside out. So it's a really different attitude than like an exercise or a stretch or something where you're like, okay, I'm moving the tissue, right? It's like you're inside of it and you're making wave-like movements. It's not important that your hand looks like my hand right now. What's very important is that you're feeling from the inside out, trying to wake up the intrinsic tissue of the hand. This movement is more about the forearm. This is about really waking up the hand. So let's start for 2 minutes and go. So I'll be here, again, as a guide. I'm not sure how much of this I'll talk through, but you've got one in those spaces in between the bones, the pennate muscles, the sort of feather-shaped muscles of your hand, that tissue that you're seeing. You can move this way. You can bring the movement up in your arm a little bit, but you can visualize the inner ocean. We're mostly water. We all know that intellectually, but to really know it as a felt sense, sort of feel the fluid dynamics of this hand, pouring all of your attention into this one hand. Okay, we've got about a minute left. And I'll be silent. Let's just do this together. Your hand doesn't need to be up like mine is. I think I'm just holding it up to kind of like show camaraderie. And then I'm doing it too. Getting in between your bones, but not as a range of motion thing, just as a can you feel it, almost imperceptible, just a step above a thought. A wave of fluid mechanics, fluid dynamics. Got about 10 more seconds. Really stay with it, stay with your attention in your hand, as your hand. That's time. Let's do a post test. One is, again, close your eyes if they're not already closed, and feel your sort of body map on either side. Notice what you notice in terms of volume, size, anything really, sensation. And then 2 is move your other wrist, and then move this wrist. And notice what you notice. My guess is for all of us, and we'll all have different sort of entry points, and this will be different effectiveness for each of us, efficacy. But probably almost all of us will feel that map fill out even more, and that sort of attitude, for me, has really profound implications for how I move. That there are times when it's time to just like do the exercise, but I think a lot more than I give credit for, it's time to really like inhabit that part of the body, and even applying this sort of attitude towards something like lifting or running or these more overt movements. But that being your body instead of a head directing your body, and knowing the difference that makes very immediately. I feel much more fluid range of motion, and this hand feels much more full, and sort of already I can just tell like less likely to be injured if I were typing on it all day. And that was just 2 minutes. So, blessings. Hope this helps, and see you soon.